Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today's build is the Paladin Regifter. Now, we are regifting the Regifter with an update, and the reason for the update is there's been so many changes. We're going to have different fixes on our gear. We're no longer going to base it completely around the health regen. We're not going to be wearing those set items with the health regen on them. Instead, we're going to switch to the undisputed and a crafted weapon. You can now passively get health regen on a relic as an implicit, so there's no need for the affix. We're not going to stack so much strength since we're not getting a bonus to health regen based on strength. The damage output of this build will be roughly the same. You'll be dual welding, so you will take that 12% more damage, but you will have pretty decent damage with it. However, when it comes to damage reduction, you're getting more damage reduction easier. So now you will be able to stack your armor up higher and get to the 75% damage reduction with armor faster. You'll actually get there really quickly. It'll be completely possible. You'll get to 60% damage reduction with armor without even getting into the fight. You'll get that just based off having Sigils and Ring of Shield healing you for that 50% armor boost. Then when you lunge, you get that 100% boost, and boom, you're going to be into the 70% range. And then once you hit, you get a little bit more armor once you take just one hit, and that's going to put you at 75% armor for damage reduction. Then we have the new affix Endurance, and the way the Endurance works is you can get up to 60% more damage reduction up to a threshold however much you put on your gear. In this build with the gear that we have, which is not all maxed out, we have just crafted items tier 15ish, and you can get 650 to about 700 endurance threshold, which means when we fall down to 700 health, our extra damage reduction kicks in. Now we have 47% endurance on this build. You can get up to 60%. But what that means is if something hits you hard enough to actually take your health down to that point, it then slows down even more. Now, we're not running a shield, but we are having some block chance in this build. They made it easier to get block chance, and since we're using Sigils and Ring of Shields anyway, you can still get almost 50% block chance without even using a shield, which is really nice. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the skills. For skills, I'm running Sigils of Hope, Ring of Shields, Lunge, Holy Aura, and Vengeance. For Sigils of Hope, we have this to get some more damage, make it an insta-cast so it doesn't interrupt us doing damage with the Vengeance, and then we have a lot of block chance and health regen with it. We have 5 points in Iron Sigil, so that we'll have 200 additional flat armor per sigil that's active, and we'll have up to 4 of them in this build. We have 4 points in Enduring Hope, 1 point in Tetragram, 1 point in Meditation, and 3 points in Sign of the Guardian. Now this gives you 3% more block chance. We'll have 4 sigils, so since that's per sigil, you'll get 12% block chance. We have 1 point in the Meditation for that double health regen. They normally give you 25% health regen, so now you get 50%, and with 4 of them, you'll have 200% increased health regen. 2 points in Empowering Sigils for 12% damage increase per sigil. We'll have 4 of them, so that's 48%. Then we have Word of Alacrity, which gives us a heal amount and some additional cast speed for casting them faster. However, since we put 1 point in Exigency, we have Instacast, which increases the mana cost, which we're not worried about because you're getting mana back with Vengeance use. And then we have Word of Power, which gives us 30% more melee damage for 3 seconds after we cast it, and we'll be casting it about every 3 seconds to keep up the rotation. If you don't want to cast it every 3 seconds, you can also just spam it and get them all at once. Then for Ring of Shields, we have Ring of Shields set up to give us block chance, and it's going to give us more armor, with 2 points in Reinforcement for some additional shields, 2 points in Healing Shields so they heal us every 3 seconds, 5 points in Phalanx so that we get 50% more armor when it heals us for 4 seconds. And since it's healing you every 3 seconds, that means that you can have 100% uptime on that armor buff. 3 points in Banding to give your shields more health and physical resistance. 1 point in Enduring Defense to give them more duration so they last longer. 2 points in Tempered Steel to reduce the cost of the Ring of Shields, and it will also reduce their health. And that's for the 5 points in Defensive Shield so that For 4 seconds after we cast them, you get 15% more block chance and some more block effectiveness. Now, you're not going to get 100% uptime of that. This has a 15-second cooldown. This only lasts for 4 seconds, which means you only have about a 30% uptime of it. However, that 30% uptime is going to put your block chance at around 50%, which is really nice for that 15 seconds. And if you don't put Ring of Shields on auto cast, you can manually cast it when you're expecting a big hit, and you'll be more likely to block. Lunge, we have Lunge set up the usual way that almost everyone plays it. That's with 3 points in Tactician, 4 points in Forge On, so you get 100% more armor whenever you lunge, 1 point in Unstoppable, so you're invincible while lunging, 1 point in Initiative to give yourself the initiative buff for 4 seconds. This will give you 40% more crit chance, and with 5 points in Avenger's Charge, it will now give you a total of 240% more crit chance, which is huge. We have 4 points in Into the Fray so that the lunge hit has a bigger area of effect, and 1 point in Double Strike so that you can hold an additional charge of lunge, which will allow you to do a double lunge when you have mobs all lined up, especially if you've saved up both charges in between fights. Then for Holy Aura, we have Holy Aura set up to give us a bunch of effects on block and to give us some more health regen. So we have 4 points in Vital Boon for that 40% health regen, 2 points in Call to Arms for the physical damage increase, 2 points in Fanatism for the attack speed boost, 5 points in Shelter from the Storm so that we get 25% elemental resist and 25% poison resist. This is doubled while it's active, however you'll already be capped on these, so you're just getting extra protection against things like Mark of Death or things that debuff you and reduce your resistance to things. 4 points in Mighty Shield so that you gain 8 health every time you block. Now again, you're only going to have about 30 to 35% block at all times as long as you have the sigils up, and then you'll have about 50% when you have Ring of Shields cast in the last 4 seconds, which means almost 50% of the time you're going to be getting 8 health back when you get hit. And then with 3 points in Against the Odds, you'll also get 21 word along with that 8 health. For Vengeance, we have this set up with 6 points in Vengeful Fighter. We're trying to do as much damage as possible. This will give you 90% multiplicative more damage when your damage or your health is under 50%. With 1 point in Blade Paladin, this is now when you're above half health instead, which is when pretty much at all times. And then 5 points in Executioner for 75% more hit damage, 5 points in Poison, you take 30% less damage, 3 points in Faint Strike for 45% more damage. Now again, you don't really need the damage reduction of Vengeance. It is nice, you can use it. However, if you want to do more damage, I would recommend speccing into Arrive and getting critical strike chances with it, more damage, more added flat damage, attack speed. You have that area of effect with Vengeance, which is really nice. You don't need it super bad with Vengeance because you have Retaliation, and Retaliation is kind of an AoE, like a very small circular arrive. So between that and using Vengeance, you kind of do enough damage. For passives, I have 49 points in the Sentinel base class, which definitely has to be a record for most points put in the base class. We have 5 points in Overwhelm, 5 points in Counterattack, 4 points in Banish, 8 points in Juggernaut, 8 points in Fearless, 1 point in Gladiator. Something you'll notice in the passive is that block chance no longer scales with the amount of points that you put into it in any of the nodes and any of the masteries, so you don't need more than 1 point. 1 point in Aegis of Renewal, 5 points in Armor Clad, 1 point in Iron Mastery, 5 points in Time and Faith, 1 point in Gladiator, and 5 points in Blade of Mastery. We have 5 points in the Void Knight. All 5 points are in Abyssal Endurance for that void and physical resistance. We have 5 points in the Forge Guard, with 1 point in Steel Aegis and 4 points in Battle Harden. That's so that we can get Ring of Shields. This also gives us more physical resist and armor when hit. And then 52 points in the Paladin, which is our master class, with 8 points in Conviction, 6 points in Defiance, 8 points in Valor, 1 point in Honor, 7 points in Holy Symbol, 8 points in Faith and Armor, 1 point in Staunch Defender, 1 point in Shield Wall, and 12 points in Reverence of Duality. For items and idols, You want a 1x4. You can put anything you want here. I wanted the increased armor just so that we had an easier time getting to that 75% damage reduction. And then you want your Vengeance Idols, which is going to give you percent damage increase with Vengeance and with Smite, and then as a suffix you can get anything you want. In my case, we have a useless stat. We have Shred Armor on hit with fire skills, which we're not even using. We do have one unique, which is the Undisputed. This gives you a huge amount of melee physical damage, melee attack speed. You have Leech of Overkill damage, and then you get 10% more physical damage for every hit against a bleeding enemy, up to 250%. And that 250% was raised up from 200, which is what it was previous patch. So I'm definitely excited to try some more dual undisputed builds here in the future on the Primalist, where we get 500% more physical damage just for hitting bleeding targets. Then for crafted items, we have a Solar Plate for that critical strike avoidance implicit. Then we have Vite, Dex, Necrotic Resistance, and Health Regen on it. For the helm, we have the Wing Helm for that critical strike avoidance. We have Vite, Dex, Health Regen per second, and Endurance Threshold. We have a Jade Amulet for the melee attack speed with physical damage, physical penetration, poison resist, and elemental resist. We have a Deciseed Sword on our offhand with melee physical damage, melee critical strike chance, health on melee hit, and chance to apply frailty on melee hit. For our rings, we're doing silver rings for the move speed. We have Dex, critical strike chance, block. You can now put hybrid block, which is block chance and block effectiveness, on rings and gloves. So we have that on this, along with endurance threshold. For the belt, we have the bronze belt with dodge rating on potion use, physical damage, endurance threshold. Yes, the dodge rating on potion use is useless because our passive does not allow us to have any dodge rating for the extra block chance. For our other silver ring, we have Dex, increased critical strike chance, hybrid block chance, and endurance threshold. For the gloves, we have the engraved gauntlets for the percent endurance with flat armor. We have strength, melee attack speed, hybrid block, and health regen per second. Then for the boots, we have the solar greaves for the fire resist and the move speed. We have move speed, vitality, health regen per second, which is a new one that you can put on the boots now instead of the chest, and physical resistance. And then we have the golden chalice for the +6 flat health regen with increased physical damage, strength, endurance threshold, and increased health regeneration. And for the character sheet, as you can see, we're capped on just about all of our resistances. We are a little low on poison by 4% and a little low on physical by 12%. However, you do get the physical once you take just one hit. That'll jump up by 16%, so you'll be up there. When you activate your Holy Aura, you'll notice that as soon as you activate that, you get the rest of the poison. However, that's not going to be 100% uptime. It's only going to be about 50% uptime while Holy Aura is active. Now, without doing anything, we have 36% armor, 21% block chance, with an extra 31% damage reduction when you do block. We have 47% endurance with a threshold of 639 health. We are capped on critical strike avoidance just from having the two implicits on the chest and helm and the points in the passive tree that increase your critical strike avoidance. Now, once you use Holy Aura, like I said, you're instantly going to have all of your resistances capped except for physical, but once you take one hit, that'll cap that, so your resistances are covered. Then for sigils, as you activate them, you can have 4 active, so we'll get all 4 of our sigils active. You'll see you jump up just over 4,000 armor, so you actually have 54% damage reduction, and you jump up to 33% block chance. Then when you use Ring of Shields, you jump up to 48% block chance, which is a huge amount. And then once you get a heal going, which you can have 100% uptime of, you can see we're at 60% armor. And then once you throw in a Lunge, which has that whole 100% increased armor, you throw in a Lunge and boom, you jump up to 68% armor reduction. And you'll have to put, I like to put Lunge on auto cast so that it just keeps using it. Same with the shields. And you're going to have 68% damage reduction with armor. Now, that gets even higher once you take a hit because of your passives that increase your armor when you take a hit. That means that you're going to end up getting to 75% damage reduction with armor. Once you've been hit just one time, you'll have max resist and you'll have max armor. And then when you have the Ring of Shields and all your sigils up, you'll have up to a 48% chance to block, which is huge. Alright, for the skill rotation, how to play it, I put Holy Aura on autocast, I put Lunge on autocast, and Ring of Shields on autocast. And then all you do is lunge around, and you just use Vengeance, you insta-cast your Sigils of Hope, and just make sure that you always have 4. If you notice that you don't have 4, boom, you just cast another one. If you notice that the timer is working itself down, you can just cast another one to make sure you're always at full. And then as you can see, the damage isn't the greatest, but it's also not the worst. We're doing between 10 and 20,000 damage crits, and you have a pretty decently high crit chance thanks to the initiative inside of Lunge. So you can actually clear bosses. Remember, as you get attacked, the more often you are attacked, not only the more defense will you get so that you take less damage, but you also have retaliation, which does just about as much damage as Vengeance does, but to all enemies around you, which is really going to boost how quickly you can kill things the more that they're attacking you. Alright, let's go ahead and get into some more gameplay.